Well, our next guests are Joe Cimperman, President and CEO of Global Cleveland, and Dr. Brian Moore, President and CEO of Passages Connecting Fathers and Families. Both organizations received a TEGNA Foundation grant in 2024 for their innovative work to help Ohio residents enter the workforces. Welcome to the broadcast, Joe and Brian. Joe Cimperman on the right. Good to see you. And Brian on the left. Good to have you both with us. Joe, let me begin with you. For people who may not be familiar with Global Cleveland, what do you do? What's your mission?
We're a Cleveland-based nonprofit that welcomes immigrants, refugees, international newcomers to Cleveland. And we're very proud. We learned this morning that in 2023, according to the Brookings Institution, the number one 100% reason for population growth in Northeast Ohio was because of our immigrant community. And what those folks need is housing, what they need is a place to work, and we're so grateful to TEGNA for giving us the resources to help people get connected from employment to the employers. So many small businesses in Cleveland that are looking for workers, and we're happy to be able to fulfill that.
So you use this money to get the word out, right?
Absolutely.
And to do what you do.
And to train and to help and to promote. You know, we are a city of bridges, and TEGNA helped us build a really good bridge between the workforce and the companies that need it, and it's only because of that that we're able to make these connections.
I love that, bridging from people to people, person to person. Many thanks. Brian, let's bring you into the conversation. Dr. Brian Moore, President and CEO of Passages Connecting Fathers and Families. Tell me about that organization.
21 years ago, we recognized that fathers needed to really be involved in the lives of their children, and we saw so many of those fathers being marginalized, and even some of our some of our public policy was driving fathers out of those households. So we said, you know what, we're going to put our stake in the ground. We're going to ensure that fathers have the skills necessary in order to be actively involved in the lives of their children.
What kind of skills are you talking about?
We want them to have parenting skills. We want them to recognize the importance of work. We want them to be involved in their children's education. So we are working, and this TEGNA grant is we're really excited about that, because we're going to be able to teach these dads customer service and get them OSHA certified.
The most important job I've ever had in my life is playing the role of father.
Absolutely.
Not playing the role, being the role of father.
Sure.
Joe Cimperman, let's talk to you a little bit about your organization now. What kind of a job market do you help these folks find?
Everything from manufacturing to healthcare, education, hospitality, where the needs are in Northeast Ohio, which is pretty much everywhere. You know, there's more jobs that are open than right now we have people fulfilling them, and helping them with their English to make sure that they're up to speed, connecting them to Tri-C or their partners to make sure that they have the training that they need. And the one thing that we find is that once that match happens, it's magic, and so we try to do that over and over again.
This is not necessarily an old story. A new story.
No.
This is an old story back to the turn of the last century,
As
right?
old as fatherhood.
As old
as fatherhood. The origin stories.
Of immigrants settling in the United States, many of them settling right here in Cleveland, finding a new form of life, a new way of life.
And chasing their American dream, and being good parents, and being good fathers, and being part of the community as they can be. And we're just really grateful, because Cleveland continues to be a place that's becoming.
And Brian, fathers can find that American dream Joe was talking about once they connect with the kids, right?
Absolutely. You know, it's probably the most important thing that an individual can do is to be a father, and to be a father to these children. And so we are giving them that new hope, giving them the skills necessary. And we believe that we provide all types of skills that we're putting in their skill toolbox. And so if they need the parenting skills, we're providing that. If they need training, we're providing that. We want to be that bridge that you talked about, where that we're seeing fathers engage truly in the lives of each one of their children.
As I've said many times in speeches and on the air, my father and mother both are gone now. They've passed on. But they live right here in my heart and here in my memory.
Right.
And all that they taught me is still with me.
Sure.
So that's what it's about.
That's what it's about, absolutely.
Same thing with when we bring in immigrants. We want to get them a start, and once they get started, what we taught them still lives in them, correct?
It's true. Cleveland's soul is one of kindness and hospitality. And, you know, it's so often that it's when people come here, they realize it. They see things that we can't see as people who've been born here. And it's always nice to be reminded about our core and our heart.
That's where it all begins,
right?
Where it all ends. Thank you, gentlemen. Joe Cimperman, President and CEO of Global Cleveland. Dr. Brian Moore, President and CEO of Passages Connecting Fathers and Families. Appreciate you being on the broadcast.
Absolute pleasure to be here.
This is We the People. There's more information you can use right on our screen right there, where you can contact them.